What's up and welcome back to Naptime Builder. Back with the church truck. We got some, I was finally able to find some radiator hoses. Hopefully they fit. Thermostat. Found a belt. Hopefully it fits. And after we get all that done, we will see about trying to get that fuel gauge and the temp gauge working but not. And I mean, a lot of this just regular maintenance stuff, but at the same time, it's got to be done. So I guess let's get after it. See what we got. Alright, so hopefully that wind ain't bothering the audio too much. This is what I got. This is a aftermarket fuel gauge. We're gonna try when we get to that point. I'm thinking the factory one is just jacked up. Got a couple hoses. They are trimmed to fit, but they do have the curves. So obviously I'll have to trim that one a decent amount, but I'd rather have to trim it than it be too short. And then, what about you? Oh yeah, we can make you work too. And then here's our little overflow tank. This radiator does not have a overflow spout in there. It's just an empty hole up in there. So I'm gonna try to figure something out. I have no idea what, but we're gonna try to figure something out. Covers the daggum thing there. So maybe I can cut that. Ooh, don't run away from me. Just on this side of that center piece right there, and shove it through from the inside and get it tied in there. That's what I'm hoping. Well, we'll see what we can do, I guess. And then we got a belt, hopefully it'll fit. Thermostat, hopefully it's right. I gotta go in here and get some gasket maker. I think I even got a fuel filter that I can throw on this. Might as well, she look old. And also, while we've got the thermostat off, we'll go ahead and replace this small little bit of hose right here. Might as well do it while we're at it. Might as well. Oh, look at that. I guess we could, that's a 195 it says. I guess we could open this up. Lord, I hope it's the same. They look a little different, but that right there does look old as Moses. It's a 195 also. Oh yeah. Look how crunchy smug is. I'll take a wire wheel to that, clean it up the best we can. See up in there? Well, let's do a little cleaning to that before we try to put that back together. Alright, here we are. Cleaned up. All the gasket and gunk is off of it. I've also got this down here cleaned up. Got our new piece of hose on. There was our old one. Cut her to length. And that'll Goes right down in there like she's supposed to. But I'll put some gunk around that and hopefully we can get this thing sealed up. Alright, we got the thermostat back on there. That new hose on down there, clamps tightened up. Gasket maker on the thermostat housing there. After we cleaned it up, put a new thermostat in. Hopefully that gasket maker will treat us right. Then we got the new hose. I just trimmed, had to trim just a little bit off of it. But she looks pretty good. About to tear this bottom one off down here and see how that goes. Alright, so look over my mess. Apparently my drain pan got clogged up. But here we got the new hose on the bottom, new hose on the top. New junk around the thermostat housing, new thermostat. New hose right there. Did not find the fuel filter I had, by the way. I'll keep looking. What else? Oh, the new belt is on. I changed up the alternator bracket a little bit. She is tight. And in line. That's what I'm talking about. What else? All right, so new hoses, new thermostat, cleaned all that, of course. New hose on that, new belt. I did not get to my overflow. It is time for me to get ready for work. But I will be back out here tomorrow. Also, the choke cable has not been hooked up this whole time. So I finally was like, hey, I'll just, I'll hook it up. Okay, I shouldn't have tried to do anything else. I should have just went on and took my butt on in the house. Here we go, look. Here we are. Got her in the little holder, tightened her down, brought her up through this, pulled this all the way forward like she should be, tightened her down. That way, oh, now she's a little toe taut. Come on, girl. You want to. Alright, never mind. She don't want to. Anyways, got her hooked up. Come in here. I'm gonna test her out, I mean, that's not really supposed to do that. So, I guess if we want to choke and not have to go under the hood and cover it by hand or whatever, then I'm gonna have to get a manual choke cable. So, always something. Always. When you know you're about to go in and call it a day, don't try to do that one last thing before you go that you think is just going to be simple. Don't do it. It's a trap. It always is. It's just like it right there. So, we'll catch y'all tomorrow. Well, it seems while I've been at work the last couple nights, the wind's been pretty rough. Yeah, that's part of my roofing. Where she missed? There we go. Look at that big old hole. Ain't that just lovely? And then the wind was just blowing, and right here you can see where it's all kinked up and everything. The wind was just blowing and that was just flapping like crazy. So in my mind, I'm thinking that just means we need to close in the whole carport out there and make that shop too, right? It will eventually happen. I'm not going back and fixing a bunch of plastic roofing like that. It's just not happening. The wind has been rougher over here than I expected it to be. And I had that stuff screwed down pretty good, and it all it wind does is it has to catch like a little corner of it, and it's been rough on it. So we will eventually be closing that other 16 foot out there in, but it's not right now. So the wind's just gonna have to have its way with the roofing for now, because it's about to start getting cooler and all that, and I just got too many other things that I want to get done, and that's not the highest priority at the moment. So I does think though that it's blowing my daggum roofing off, and it ain't been. I probably ain't had this shop 4 months, have I? I don't even know. All right, what's up, y'all? It's been a few days, and as you can tell, I've scooted the Jeep over and crammed the church truck up in here. The weather's been pretty rough, real windy and raining and everything. You know, you can't do nothing outside like that. Even under that carport out there, my dadgum plastic. Ooh, whoa. My dadgum plastic on my carport roof out there. The wind's just been ripping through, and it's tore a couple pieces of it off and all this. Well, anyways. A couple days ago, we changed the radiator hoses and new thermostat and all that. That gasket maker that I made, or that I was using, completely sucked. Okay, it was way too thin. I was worried about it when I put it on there, but I had it, so I figured I'd try it. And plus, I was already putting it on there, so it was a little too late, so we tried it out. And as soon as I fired this thing up, like next day or whatever, just to pull it in here, like I had a little thin, right here. Like right about in here, I had a little thin line of daggum water spraying up, and it was leaking out the bottom of the thermostat housing and everything. But I've not filmed anything today, but I took all this back off, cleaned all that up, and put some black sealant on there. I like that stuff a lot better. It's a lot thicker too. That other stuff was like water, but we got that on there. It's curing and all that. I did find the new fuel filter. I threw it on. I just set that up there. That don't have a filter in it, but it's just covering it up. We did get our overflow tank attached, and it's a little rigged up. Hopefully it'll work, but you know, we didn't have come on out of there. So I mean, she wiggles a little bit. Like, honestly, I don't know. That's just for now. Hopefully we can figure out something better, but for now, that's what's on there. It's not filled up or anything. It's just attached and hooked up. But, ow, my head. Was messing with the fuel gauge. And I bought a new fuel gauge. This little thing right here. And I got it hooked up and was testing it out. The tank's pretty much in, like they're probably not even a gallon of gas in the tank. But she jumps all the way over here on full. Even when I pull the cinder out of the tank and like lift it up to where it would be on full, when I've got it lifted up to full, the gauge shows empty, and when it's at empty, the gauge shows full. So I've swapped the wires and it does the same mess. I'm wondering if this old school cinder ohms reading is like opposite of what this gauge calls for. Because I mean, that's about all I'm seeing at the moment. Basically, what I'm saying is today has been an utter and complete failure, okay? Alright, so seeing how I'm a dummy and don't know nothing, I broke down, grabbed my meter, and checked the ohms of these, both cinders. Apparently both cinder units are good, okay? They're brand new. So, I was hoping they was, but I don't know nothing. But I checked them at the full level and at empty, and they look right to be with what I looked up about. It looks like 1950s to 80s. I think it said Ford. Most of them like this are when they're empty, they read like 73 ohms, and when they're full, they read 10 ohms. Both of these are right there at that. So started looking at that gauge that I had bought, and it's 0 to 90, completely opposite. That's probably why when my tank here is empty, that mug was showing full, and at full, that was showing empty. Alright, so here we are, bright and early back out here this morning. I've been on day shift for a few days, so it's been about 4 or 5 days since I'm able to do anything. I was able to stop by the store the other day though after work, and I grabbed a new choke cable. It's actually my bad. This was Amazon. But we can use that for a choke cable. Also got a fuel gauge, supposedly, that is, I did some research, and apparently that sending unit is empty at 73 ohms and full at 10. And the other gauge that I had bought was 0 ohms at empty and 90 ohms at full. So apparently that's why we was reading completely opposite of what we should have been reading. So we got another gauge. Hopefully it's right. Also, I'm on my few days off here. I was really hoping to get this truck back to the church before I have to go back to work next week. But I kind of just remembered that the door don't shut, like latch, the driver door. So I guess if I figure out the temp sensor, and then this fuel gauge, and that choke cable, hopefully I can figure out something about that latch too. I don't know. They might not want her back if there's a chance of falling out the driver's door while driving. So who knows? But I think I'm gonna start off by throwing this choke cable in. But first, we have to get the old one. All right, and after a little cutting and grinding with the angle grinder, new choke cable is in, and still got the old school ring on there. I had to cut off the old threads and everything come all the way out here. I had to chop them off at first, and I was gonna run it through, but this ended up being way too thick, so I had to drill out the hole in the original there to make this fit. And after I drilled big enough to get this to fit, then all the original threads are gone. Luckily this is a full thing, and I stuck them threads through there and tightened her down, and there she is. But now she got a choke cable, and it works. I just tested her out. But they loved that 5 o'clock in the morning me out here with angle grinder. But I guess now I need to start looking into this fuel gauge. Alright, so there's our little gauge. Luckily it does fit in our little holder that came with our other gauge that Did not work out for us just because of the ohm readings, what it requires. You know, I get it in there a minute ago, but of course, no, okay. Oh, it's probably because it's got that rubber seal on it. Messing with me. Over here playing with my emotions. It's kind of hard to do some of this stuff one-handed. You know, anyway, you're just going to have to take my, just take my word for it. But here's the little wiring harness, plugs into the back. Looks like the red is power, the black is the signal from the sender, orange is the backlight, and blue is the ground. This little white wire here is grounded, and that is my sender. So I'll have to figure out. Alright, so right here, I've just got some wires twisted together. That way I can test this thing out. I need to hook that daggone battery up. Oh, I just heard something. Alright, so it made a little noise when I put power to it. And it is sitting on E, but I mean, there's not much gas in here, so I guess I'm about to pour some in and just see if it changes. We're already doing better than we was, because when we hooked power up to it, it didn't go all the way to full like the other one did. So let's see this. Check this out. Heck yeah, look at there. Pour some gas in her and she's working. Now to make these connections more permanent and hook up the backlight also, you know, and get her mounted. Pretty excited about that. At least now I know my sender and stuff's right, which it's new, so it should be, but that don't mean nothing nowadays, because there ain't no telling how many bad parts I've bought brand new that didn't work. So gonna make these connections permanent, or more permanent anyways, and then get that mounted up under the dash. I hate that it's gonna have like 4 gauges up under the dash like that, but that original gauge is just apparently ain't working. And hopefully after this, I really got to figure out the temp gauge. All right, so it don't look the best having 4 daggum gauges hanging off the bottom of the dash, but unfortunately, sometimes you do what you got to do. Sometimes you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Okay. This one was working when I got out here. That's a wire got bumped or moved or something. And later on nap time, or during nap time, we'll pull this thing out. Hopefully my gasket maker in there does not leak this time. I use better stuff. Hopefully it does not leak this time, but we'll pull it out or back it out and, you know, top the fluids off, the water, the radiator and stuff. And then we've got to figure out that temp gauge. I'll have to let it run a little bit, get some heat in the motor and all that jazz. But I mean, what is it? 6:09 right now. We've already installed the fuel gauge, got it working, wired up, and had to fabric cobble a little bit and get that new choke cable in and in the original position and all that mess. But And I guess that's it till nighttime. Try not to make too much racket out here. So I'm about to go look at the sunset or sunrise because it's that time.